Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Women in Retail Talks. Joining Melissa Campanelli, co-founder of the Women in Retail Leadership Circle, is Rhonda Murray, founder of Elevate for Her, a professional development organization designed to help women gain the skills, knowledge, and confidence to succeed and compete with their male counterparts. Listen in as they discuss Rhonda's background, why she founded Elevate for Her, and some of the techniques addressed in the organization's programming. And now, on to the show.
Hi, everybody. I'm Melissa Campanelli. I'm the co-founder of the Women in Retail Leadership Circle, and I'm so excited to have Rhonda Murray with us today. In case you don't know, Rhonda is the founder of Elevate for Her, which is a professional development organization with programming designed to help women claim their value and step forward from inferiority. She's going to talk to us today about how women can use things such as their drive and passion to achieve their goals. So how are you doing today, Rhonda?
I'm great. I'm really excited to be on your show, Melissa. Thanks so much for the invitation.
Oh, well, we're so excited to have you.
Good.
So before we get started on all this fabulous stuff, why don't you just tell us a bit about your journey and your background?
Sure, I'd love to. I started, like so many people, you get finished with college and you think, okay, now what? So I definitely had that now what moment. And I ended up just totally falling into a role at a large ad agency called Footcon Building in Los Angeles several years ago. And once I started there, I realized, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. So the role that I had, I worked on some really fun, high-profile accounts. The large one that I was working on was Universal Studios. So I got to see advertising inside and out from several different vantage points and just realized that the skill sets that were required for a marketing/advertising role was definitely one that I had. So from there, I fell into, it was kind of one of those happenstance into the golf industry. So For many years, I worked in the golf industry. I've worked with Nike Golf, PGA of America, PGA Tour, and then some other smaller golf organizations. And golf was just a fun industry for me to work in. What was interesting there, though, is I primarily worked with men. There were so few women that were working in a higher capacity within the industry. So it was during those years that I really tried to find my identity as a woman working in a male-dominated field. And then lastly, I kind of got out of the golf industry and went a bit more mainstream. I've worked with Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh, wow.
And that was an incredible experience. And then along the way, I've had just great opportunities where I've worked with Billie Jean King and Kurt Warner, and I even did some work, a project up at Trump Tower with Donald Trump. So it's been a very, very many different types of roles within marketing and advertising, but it's been great to see just have different opportunities and different projects that I really got to hone my skills on an array of different platforms. So it's been great.
That's awesome. So then how did you come about to Elevate for Her? To start
Well, it was
Elevate
kind of
for Her?
interesting. Yeah, with my current venture, which is Elevate for Her, I was working on a project. It was a negotiation training organization, and I had two male partners. And we were looking at programming and programming development and so forth. And I said, hey, guys, we really need to have a program that's designed specifically for women, because with the research shows that women typically can negotiate differently, and we have some strengths and we have some weaknesses. So I just felt like, trying to lump men and women into the same program while it's done all the time, I thought, wouldn't it be smart if there was a program that we had that was catered to how women think and how women feel and some of our shortcomings and so forth. So my partner said, no, I don't think we want to do that. And I decided I did want to do that. So that's when I launched Elevate for her. So in addition to the negotiation training programs, we also extended or augmented the types of programs. So we do leadership training and diversity and inclusion, unconscious bias, personal branding. So several different areas underneath that business soft skill umbrella.
Great. Yeah, excellent. I did look at your site and looked at some of your materials, and I know that you cover things like mastering difficult conversations, personal branding. These are the sort of things that are very interesting to our listeners and to women, I think, in business roles in general.
Let me share with you one of the things that is consistent regardless of the program type that you participate in, whether it's negotiation or personal branding or leadership, is our programs are all anchored with having an element of inspiration. One of the biggest challenges that we have as women is being able to stand up and speak out for what we really want. So one of my favorite stats, it's not a favorite, it's something that we're working to change, but a stat that I quote quite frequently is that women initiate negotiations 4 times less frequently than our male counterparts. So when you really stop and take a look at that statistic and think how far-reaching it is, it's not surprising that women are where we are today. So if we're not asking for the job, if we're not asking for the promotion, if we're not asking for the raise, if we're not asking for that mentor, I mean, it goes on and on and on. It's not surprising that we're making 80 cents to the man's dollar. And there's so many other studies and statistics. Another favorite that I just came across, it's been out a year or so, I think, but it's in the Harvard Business Review, where they say men will apply for a job even though they only meet 60% of the qualifications. Women, we wait until we're at like 100% to say, okay, now I'm qualified. So it's some of those mind shifts that we really, really need to start working on, because unless you feel in your mind that, yes, I can do this, yes, I do deserve that, it doesn't matter what skills you have or strategies that you can implement, because you won't implement them because you haven't found that inner strength that says, okay, yeah, I'm going to claim this. This is going to be mine.
Yeah, that's a fascinating statistic. It's so telling.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And like I said, there was, not to belabor the stats, but there was another stat that said this goes back to when we were in grade school. So there's studies on girls versus boys in the classroom, and boys are more willing to raise their hand and give an answer, but what they found is little girls are reluctant to raise their hand and give the answer, although in the studies, the girls knew the correct answer more frequently than the boys.
Oh, my goodness. So. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
Wow, that's too bad. But
yeah.
Anyway, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was, with negotiation strategies and that kind of stuff. And one of the things that I read about that you have talked about is that if you master your body language, or if women master their body language, they can command a 50% raise this year and a year, I'm sure. So can you tell our listeners some things they can do in terms of, their body language to help this? Yeah,
I definitely can. And we came across that statistic based on some of our own programming. So we've conducted negotiation training programs, again, specifically for women, and we go over different strategies and tactics that make a huge difference when it comes to negotiating better terms. And actually, the one woman in particular, she works in the entertainment industry, had been getting the same rate for year after year, although she had worked on some incredible feature films. So if I named them, I mean, it's just all the top blockbusters that most of us have seen. But she just didn't know how to go about increasing her rate. So she went through our program, and again, we teach different strategies and techniques and tactics, but then we also instilled a lot of that inspiration. But when it comes to body language, some of the really basic ones that, again, I think we overlook or don't really realize it makes a big difference on how you're being perceived. So the first is just that simple handshake. So I'm not sure about you, Melissa, but I know even as a woman, if I meet someone new, another woman, and she has a less than robust handshake, I'm somewhat. It makes a impression. Have you noticed that before? If it's not a firm grip and a what I would call just a hearty handshake, it makes a difference on how I perceive that person, and that obviously goes for men too.
Definitely. That's a great example. Are there any other strategies that you can use, even if they feel like unqualified or panicked or tongue-tied?
Yeah, well, when it comes to the body language, the other thing that we talk about is, you really need to look the part too, and that kind of comes into, how you want to be perceived. So, what are you wearing, and how is your just your overall appearance? That speaks for you. I mean, again, there's stats that say that your body language conveys 80 to 90% is what people are picking up on, not necessarily what's coming out of your mouth. So within our programs and our trainings, we definitely place a lot of emphasis on reviewing some of those strategies that make a big difference on how you're perceived. And again, it's unfortunate, but it's the reality that we are judged by, what our hair looks like, or hair color, or, the number of earrings or what have you. So we spend some time reviewing that as well. And then some of the other things that we address, again, just on a really high level, is we teach mirroring. And I'm not sure how many people have heard of that technique before, but whenever you're negotiating with someone, you want to feel like you're both on the same page. So if someone leans in forward, I'm going to mirror their gestures so that I'm able to create this feeling that, yes, we are on the same page, and yes, we are making progress and working through this as a team, versus it being a me versus him or her. So, and then obviously with that, you don't want to, have the arms folded across your chest, or you just want to be open and present, create a sense of willingness to collaborate and work on it as a team, because good negotiation at the end of the day, it shouldn't be, oh, I won and you lost. It's a situation where you're both coming together. You both have something that you're a goal, but we don't have to identify one as a winner or a loser. The most effective negotiations are ones where each party walks away feeling like, I got what I want. This is great, and we're going to be able to move forward and work. And that's especially important in the workplace, right? Because you, if you're trying to negotiate a new salary or a a promotion or what have you, and you're happy there, you want to have a long, lasting positive relationship. So all of those things really come into play. And again, there's a million others, but those are just some of the top, more practical, easy to implement strategies that we include in our programming.
That's awesome. I'm going to just kind of jump around a little bit with these questions, but
Sure.
I really also liked the idea around mastering difficult conversations, because I think that is such an important issue for people.
Right.
Men, women, whatever. And something that doesn't really get discussed that often. So I would love to hear what your best practices are around that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, well, in terms of mastering those difficult conversations, again, a lot of it comes down to taking the realization that, yes, this is going to be a difficult conversation, and I'm going to figure out what my strategy is going to be. So as with anything in life, we recommend that you spend some time preparing and almost doing some role playing. So identifying, okay, here are the points that I want to make. And then you take it one step further. Here's what that other person, what their counterpoint might be, so that you're really you're doing some role playing within your mind, so that when it is time to have that conversation, you're prepared, because chances are you're going to be nervous. There's going to be some adrenaline, because nobody likes to have those tough conversations in the workplace. So we really encourage taking time, thinking through the points that you want to make, and not that you want to have it scripted, but you want to be able to address those and succinctly maneuver your way through that conversation. And then the other thing is just attempting not to take it personally. I think as women, we often take things to heart, whereas our male counterparts not as much, according to a lot of research that's out there. So if we could somewhat remove ourselves from taking it personally, and just realizing that, hey, this is a conversation that it's just part of life, and it's part of our work life, and understanding that, hey, I've got to have this conversation. Here's what I want to have as the outcome, and then having the courage and the confidence to go forth and have that conversation.
Excellent. So I'm going to jump ahead. So you mentioned earlier that you worked with President Trump, so I have to mention that again really quickly. But given this, I mean, what are some things women need to do, to advance their careers in a male-dominated field?
Yeah, it's interesting, and I'll just go with the Trump project. I was incredibly nervous. I was fortunate enough to, this is when I was working for Robert Kiyosaki, and I was working in a marketing capacity. We were doing some promotional videos, so I was selected to do a Q&A session with them. So part of the Q&A session, I collected all of my questions, and I rehearsed them for weeks, and we get there, and I thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is where my career has led me, and I was incredibly nervous. And it wasn't like me to be nervous or intimidated, but I was. So what ended up happening is he came in into the boardroom. We started our shoot, and to be quite honest with you, he wasn't as nice as I was hoping he would. And what I realized is, you know what, Rhonda, there is no reason for you to be nervous. There is absolutely no reason, because he's a person, I'm a person. And at that moment, and it happened very quickly, I realized I cannot give him my power. I'm not going to say, okay, yeah, you can. And I had been working for years and worked for many different high-profile celebrity types, but for whatever reason, with Donald Trump, I was incredibly intimidated. But when I realized that he wasn't as respectful as I was hoping he was going to be, then I reclaimed my value and I reclaimed my voice, and I said, okay, I'm not going to let this person make me nervous, and I'm here to do a job. I know exactly what I need to do because I've been preparing for this moment, and then it was great. From there, we had a great interview, got exactly what we needed to shoot, and it's just one of those life lessons that I think we all can use. And I know I definitely share that story with other women that I work with. I share it with my kids. It's don't let someone else take your voice and your value. Don't give them that power. You hold on to it, regardless of how much money they have or what's their title or what have you. And again, kind of goes back to why I started this brand in the first place, is because as women, we need to find our voices. We need to feel empowered. Otherwise, we'll be having the same conversation, 20, 30, 40 years down the road. So it's critical. And the crazy and ironic thing about it is it's been shown that organizations that have diversity and women in their upper level leadership C-suite, they perform better. They financially perform better. So we deserve to be there. I think the onus is on us to take the steps, develop those skill sets that we need so that we're confident and we start going after those different roles. And especially now, the white hot spotlight is on all things women. So companies are being reviewed for, what does their corporate boardship look like? And how many women do they have, whether it's a Google or Facebook or what have you? So much of this is in the public arena now. So it's our opportunity. It really is. And our new catchphrase is, will you be ready? Because I think the opportunities are going to be there, but women have to make sure that they are ready.
That's great. So let me just jump ahead too here. So tell us a little bit about Elevating x2, I guess, is how you say it. It's a program that allows for a percentage of each engagement that you do, earmarked for underprivileged, underserved girls and women. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, and actually it's one of my favorite things about the brand, just to give you some quick insight to my story. I grew up in a really underprivileged part of town. My grandfather didn't even graduate from high school, so no one went to college. There was not a lot of motivation or drive to move beyond those circumstances. But for whatever reason, I had that drive. So I became the first child in my family to go on to college, and then I got the master's degree. So I see, and I'm a product of the power of education. So with Elevate x2, what we're doing is, as you said, with each corporate engagement, we work with a nonprofit and we conduct business development skills to women in underserved communities on a gratis basis, because not only do I want to help women, professional women, improve, I want to help all women. So it shouldn't just be those who are fortunate enough to, rise up the ranks and they're trying to break through to the C-suite. I want to help all women. So to be able to, again, help these women understand that, yes, I have a voice, yes, I have a brain, and yes, it's my opportunity. So we're really, really excited about it. It's that part of the brand that makes me excited to get up and go to work each day, because it's so important, and it's a great way for me to give back and just help other women, because I know what it's like.
That's great. That's a great story. So I'm going to just have a couple more questions. One is, what we talked about so many different things today. It's been so great. But what is like the one thing that you would tell women to do today who want to advance in their careers, professional women?
Yeah, well, I think it's professional women is just really make sure that they're ready. I mean, and again, what that means is to take an inventory on their skills. Do they need to work on their leadership skills? Do they need to work on their negotiation skills? Do they need to work on developing a greater sense of oneself and one's confidence? But taking an inventory, figuring out where those weaknesses are, and then act upon it. So just like we had talked about finding your voice, you need to act on those. Once you realize, okay, here's what I need to do, take some classes. I mean, there's so many resources online, whether it's, there's free online courses that you can take in a million different business topics. There's tons of books. My big new thing is Audible. So I do a lot of Audible books. Listen to a lot of podcasts just like yours. I think there's so much that we can learn from others on the podcast, and we also can be inspired. So it's developing this game plan. And what we did is we developed a what we call our 10-day empowerment plan. And we include it in each of our training program, but I'd be more than happy to share it with your listeners. But it's a 10-day challenge, and each day you have to pick one thing that scares you. So is there one thing that you're hesitant to do, whether it's, and it doesn't always have to be related to money or promotions, but one of my favorites is, is there somebody you want to ask to be your mentor? That could be kind of scary, going out and asking for that. Or, do you really want to take an improv class, but you've been scared to because you feel like I might look foolish, or I might, people might laugh at me, but it's something that deep down in your soul, that you want to do. So for 10 days, you pick one thing that scares you. And as you get more and more comfortable with those types of asks, it becomes so easy. And I've been working for a long time that I typically don't think twice about asking. So it is not uncommon for me to pick up the phone and try to get to the CEO of XYZ company because I have an idea or a promotion that I want to discuss with them, or ask them for a favor. I mean, it's things like that. And I get rejected a lot, but you would be surprised at the number of people, most specifically women, that have said, hey, Rhonda, what do you want to talk about, or how can I help you? And I think that's one thing, Melissa, that I would want to point out. And years ago, when I was in that corporate environment, I felt like women were just kind of clawing against each other. There was little collaboration or support because we all felt like, well, there's not going to be very many women at the upper echelons of the business. So, no, I can't befriend you, and no, I can't support your efforts. Today, it's a whole new deal. I mean, again, there's been so many other business women that I've contacted totally out of the blue. I describe what I'm doing, and I've gotten them to say, okay, let's talk. And I've had some partnerships, and I've had some introductions, and just a lot of positive things. So I think as a group, we're all starting to realize, hey, we've got to support each other, and we're all going to rise together. And it's a beautiful thing. I mean, it really, really is.
I sense that too as well. I feel like there's a lot. I feel like that's sort of the theme. Maybe last year was the year of the women. I feel like this year is the year of women helping women. It's come up a lot on a lot of different conversations I've had.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I'm so glad to hear you say the same thing, because I've asked that question of other women in my circles and have gotten the same type of response. So it's awesome to see.
Yeah. So finally, what's next for Elevate for Her, and where can our listeners get more information about it?
Well, what's next is we're going to continue to scale, continue to increase the number of programs. We do a lot of corporate on-site trainings. We're looking at doing some what I call B2C consumer events, so hosting, say, a summit to where women from across the country can come to attend. And we're also looking at doing some retreats. I've got a couple of our subject matter experts who have done retreats abroad. So we're in the process of putting those together as well. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time for the brand, because I just feel like the need is there. And I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from different organizations that realize that, hey, yeah, we do need this, not only for their women on an internal basis, but it's good PR for them on an external basis to be able to share with their shareholders, hey, yeah, we launched this program, a women's leadership program, and we're doing XYZ. And then also from the consumer vantage point, because we know women control so many of those consumer purchases. So it just makes sense. So we're thrilled to where we are today, thrilled at some of the opportunities. And if you'd like to get more information, definitely encourage you to visit our website, which is www.elevateforher.com. You can read about our subject matter experts. So we've got subject matter experts that are true experts in their space. So we've got a woman that teaches at Stanford. We've got one that worked at Harvard as their first diversity and inclusion officer. So we've got some pretty impressive women that have joined our team. So we're thrilled.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Great. Well, Rhonda, it was so wonderful talking to you. I feel like I learned so much, and you had such great advice. So I'm sure our listeners are thrilled as well. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me, and hopefully we'll catch up again at some point. So thanks so much.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at wirlc.com/podcasts for show notes. Women in Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher, but make sure to subscribe to our podcast channel page as well. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Women in Retail Talks.